It is officially Joe over. Oh my God. Today, July 21st, President Biden officially dropped out of the 2024 presidential race. He announced his dropout on X. Here's his statement. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We have made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We have provided critically needed care to millions of veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We have protected and preserved our democracy, and we have revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. And then he went on and thanked a bunch of people and expressed his heartfelt appreciation to the American people. This was all set in motion after concerns about his age were brought to light after his disastrous first debate against Trump in Atlanta in June.
And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
The House blamed a cold and an intense international travel schedule for his performance, but no one really cared or believed it. The uncertainty seeped in, and fellow Democrats began to abandon his bid en masse, reflected in the polling numbers that began to dive down into Mariana Trench, and his donors began withholding their support. The president's decision to drop out came after Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries both met with him privately to air their concerns that the party could not suffer a rounding defeat across the board in November should he stay in the race. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also spoke with Biden to share troubling polling that showed his inability to defeat Trump. Biden said he would do so for the good of the party, as seen in his statement. And a few moments after that, another post on X dropped out of the coconut tree. He is now endorsing Kamala Harris. My fellow Democrats, I've decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all of my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. All the reactions are either summed up as, honestly, I don't really care who's running, I'm not voting for Trump, and the other ones are excitement for Kamala. I want to know what your thoughts are about Kamala running for president. Would love to hear from you. Drop your thoughts down below, and I'll see you next time.